Every morning before sunrise, employees rushed through the glass entrance of Hawthorne Financial Tower with coffee in one hand and phones in the other. Few noticed the small sandwich cart parked quietly beside the front doors. Behind it stood 38-year-old Daniel Carter, a single father with tired eyes, a warm smile, and an apron that had been carefully washed so many times its color had begun to fade. His daughter, 8-year-old Chloe, helped him every morning before school by neatly arranging fresh sandwiches, writing cheerful, "Have a great day," notes on the paper bags, and reminding him to smile even on slow days. Business wasn't easy. Most office workers hurried past without stopping. Some thought the sandwiches were too simple. Others barely looked at Daniel as they walked into the building. Still, he greeted every person with the same kindness. "Good morning. I hope you have a wonderful day." Years earlier, Daniel had worked as a talented restaurant chef until his wife unexpectedly passed away after a serious illness. Medical expenses wiped out their savings, and caring for Chloe meant he could no longer work long restaurant hours. The next morning began like every other. Daniel unlocked his small sandwich cart before sunrise while Chloe carefully arranged fresh bread, vegetables, and handwritten thank you notes beside each order. By 7 o'clock, office workers streamed toward Hawthorne Financial Tower. Most hurried inside without noticing them. But one black luxury sedan stopped directly in front of the entrance. The same millionaire stepped out. This time he walked straight toward Daniel's cart. "I'll take another sandwich," he said. Daniel smiled. "Of course." As he prepared it, the millionaire looked around. "You make every sandwich fresh. Every single one. You don't keep anything overnight." Daniel shook his head. "My customers deserve today's best, not yesterday's leftovers." The man smiled slightly. "My name is Jonathan Reynolds." Daniel nearly dropped the sandwich. Everyone in the city knew that name. Jonathan Reynolds was the billionaire founder and CEO of Reynolds Capital, the investment company that owned Hawthorne Financial Tower and dozens of businesses across the country. Yet Jonathan acted as though his wealth meant nothing. He accepted the sandwich, paid, and quietly walked inside. Over the next 2 weeks, he returned almost every morning. Sometimes he ordered breakfast. Sometimes he simply stood nearby talking with Daniel while Chloe packed school lunches. He never mentioned business. Instead, he asked about recipes, Chloe's school projects, and how Daniel managed to stay positive despite working such long hours. One rainy morning, Jonathan arrived earlier than usual. He watched Daniel give the last sandwich to an elderly homeless veteran standing nearby. "You didn't charge him," Jonathan observed. Daniel smiled. "He was hungry. But now you've lost a sale." Daniel shrugged. "I can earn another $1. He looked toward the old man. "I can't undo someone else's empty stomach." Jonathan said nothing. But he never forgot those words. Several days later, Daniel arrived to find television cameras outside the office tower. Employees whispered excitedly. Someone from building management approached him. "Mr. Reynolds would like you upstairs." Daniel looked confused. "Me? The chairman specifically asked for you." Nervously, Daniel straightened his apron before riding the executive elevator for the first time. The top floor looked nothing like the lobby downstairs. Floor-to-ceiling windows overlooked the city. Original artwork decorated the walls. Executives wearing tailored suits glanced curiously at the man carrying a lunch cooler. Jonathan welcomed him personally. "I'd like you to meet my leadership team." Daniel looked uncomfortable. "I think there's been a mistake." "There hasn't." Jonathan invited him into the boardroom. Around the massive table sat senior executives responsible for managing billions of dollars. One executive whispered to another. "Is that the sandwich vendor?" Jonathan heard him. "Yes." Then he addressed the room. "For the past month I've conducted a simple experiment." Everyone listened. "I've eaten breakfast here every day." He held up one of Daniel's sandwiches. "This man has never recognized me as a billionaire." Another executive smiled. Maybe he didn't know. Jonathan shook his head. He knows now. He paused. And nothing changed. The room remained silent. He charged me the same price as everyone else. He served me with the same respect. He treated the janitor, receptionist, intern, and CEO exactly alike. Jonathan looked around the table. Tell me. When was the last time someone treated us like ordinary people? No one answered. Then Jonathan revealed the real reason Daniel had been invited. Reynolds Capital operated cafeterias in more than 200 office buildings across the country. Customer satisfaction had been declining for years. Expensive consultants had offered complicated solutions. None had worked. Jonathan smiled. I think I found someone who understands hospitality better than all of them. He turned toward Daniel. I'd like you to help redesign every food service operation our company owns. Daniel stared in disbelief. I'm just a sandwich seller. Jonathan shook his head. No. You're someone who understands people. The executives exchanged uncertain looks. One finally objected. With respect, Mr. Reynolds, he has no corporate experience. Jonathan smiled. Neither did I when I started. Then he asked Daniel one question. Why do your customers keep coming back? Daniel thought for a moment. I remember their names. And I remember how they like their sandwiches. And I try to make each person's morning a little better than it was 5 minutes earlier. Jonathan looked around the room. That's customer experience. Within months, Daniel began working with chefs, managers, and nutrition teams across the company. He refused to create expensive gourmet menus. Instead, he focused on fresh ingredients, friendly service, handwritten welcome messages, and teaching staff to treat every customer with genuine kindness. Sales increased dramatically. Customer satisfaction reached record highs. Soon other companies wanted the same approach. Together, Jonathan and Daniel launched a nationwide chain built around one simple philosophy. Serve every customer as though they are your first, and your last, of the day. Years later, the business employed thousands of people, many of them single parents who needed flexible schedules and a second chance. Daniel insisted every new employee receive paid training and family-friendly benefits. He never forgot where he had started. The old sandwich cart was carefully restored and placed inside the company's headquarters. Visitors often asked why such an ordinary cart occupied the building's main lobby. A small bronze plaque answered the question. Great businesses are not built by serving important people. They are built by making every person feel important. One afternoon, Chloe, now graduating from college, stood beside her father looking at the cart. Do you ever wish we'd started bigger? She asked. Daniel smiled. No. He rested his hand on the old wooden handle. If this cart had been any bigger, I might never have learned the lesson that changed everything. What lesson? He looked at his daughter. Success doesn't begin when someone powerful notices you. It begins the moment you decide to do ordinary work with extraordinary care. Jonathan, standing nearby, smiled. I invested millions in companies. He glanced at Daniel. But the best investment I ever made started with buying a sandwich. And that became the story everyone remembered, not because a millionaire changed a single father's life, but because a single father's kindness reminded a millionaire what true success had always been about.